I think we're
Oh, now we are.
live. Awesome. So pro. So pro. We'll get that into
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
It's been how many years now? Are we at 2 years, 3 years? It's definitely been years, plural.
Yeah,
We're getting there.
yeah.
We're getting there.
How does everything sound? Okay.
Everything sounds great. Let's see if there's anybody else in the chat who disagrees, but I think it's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
We started a little bit late, but that's
Because
all right.
because I did get the
Oh my.
new microphone
Oh
and
my.
it's plugged in. So
Now,
yeah, so,
listen, I've got a couple questions for you about this. So I was
yes.
thinking, as you go through the ASMR unboxing of your expensive microphone, I was wondering, where was it Crisp with a K? Where did that go? The AI noise fixer NVIDIA accelerated thing that was quite popular in, say, 2020, start of COVID. Does that ring a bell to you? What
No.
happened there? Why
Wait.
aren't we using that instead of buying expensive microphones and stuff like that?
So I do use Auphonics, I think is it's called.
Okay. It's still around. Crisp is
Which
still around. Ophonics, you call
okay.
it?
Oh yeah, Chris. Yeah,
Gotcha.
AUPHONICS. Their website hasn't changed in like 7 years. um,
I mean, it kind of looks dated, but also this is kind of when I was doing web design, so it looks fine to me.
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough.
um, but yeah. So and since getting the new microphone, I haven't done a video. In fact, I haven't done a video in like a month.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know it's really weird. But yeah. So now I've got a new mic and I'm excited to play with it.
Fantastic.
Did I need the mic? No.
Do you feel better?
I feel like it sounds better. I
It
don't
sounds a
really know.
bit better to me, but it's hard. Like those
Yeah.
that last mile right of gains is different.
Yeah.
I would say you have a very good voice already. Again, not to give you too
Right.
many compliments. We've discussed
Right.
giving Matt compliments on this podcast
Yes.
before.
Yes.
However, what I do hear is it feels like the treble is better, and your voice is
Mhm.
quite deep. So it
Right.
sounds like
Right.
that adds some treble for you. So it might actually be a
Yep.
good thing.
Yeah.
Whereas I, on the other hand, bought this so I can make my voice deeper,
Right.
more of a baritone or whatever. So I cheat quite a bit.
Yeah.
For those on the podcast,
I mean,
if
when
you
I
ever meet me in real life, I don't sound like this.
when I listen to my recording, it sounds exactly how I hear my voice sound.
That's cool.
So
that is
yeah,
that's next level.
And the fact that it's 2 feet away from my mouth, and yet it still sounds exactly right when I play the recording on decent headphones and all.
It may even have too much trouble. I feel like it's too exact. I can hear a lot. I can hear your enunciation. You know how sometimes I think it's called fatiguing audio. Sometimes when you hear something a lot, I think
Right.
it's cymbals in particular, but generally, like with a really good a pair of headphones, some music,
Right.
I think Led
Right.
Zeppelin is the example for me, is fatiguing. It's just like,
Yeah.
man, I think it was Bonham, like chill on the cymbals, buddy. There's a lot of cymbals going on here. And it's just like I'm thinking the Audio Technica, I think they're MX50s or M50Xs or something like that. They're very accurate, but as a result, when
Right.
you listen to high treble music, it can be exhausting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very cool. I like it. So yeah, I guess what I was trying to lead into is it feels like AI for audio is going someplace. I think some YouTuber sent me a video about this guy who was trying to like poison pill AI.
Yeah.
What we were talking about last week. So I did
Right.
watch it, and someone else at work shared it as well, which may have been
Yeah.
why I watched it. But we're at that uncanny valley. It feels like right now, or maybe we've even passed it. Actually, we may have gone past that inflection point where I can't tell always if something is or is not a Drake song. Was the joke this morning? Like I
Right.
legit I don't know Drake. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I realize he came from Canada. Maybe I should, but like, I can't tell if this fake Drake track that's trending on Spotify
Right.
or actually Drake. Like it's very difficult for me to tell. And on top of which, we're getting to the point where I think it's Descript I was using the other day to generate my voice. Sounded pretty close to me. And I get I've got a generic kind of sounding voice. No problem. No harm, no foul. But like it did a really good job of replacing just a couple words here and there that I honestly garbled. I was just mumbling or what have you.
It's pretty amazing what it can generate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. Anyway, I think you sound great. I was thinking, is there some way to rub AI on this problem? But yeah, I've yet to get to the audio
Yeah,
quality echo cancellation kind of thing yet.
so I think, I mean, Allphonic is a tool that will, you submit a recording to it, and I've got, basically, I can, as soon as I add a recording to a particular folder, it'll extract the audio from the video and post it to that Allphonic site and download it. And it makes things better, but I would still get complaints on various videos saying, "Oh, you need to think about audio." It's like, I do think about audio, but
Have thought. We'll continue to think about audio, but
yeah,
thanks. I
yeah,
do feel like maybe
thanks,
it's our crowd is very particular about audio.
yeah,
Not our crowd, like our people in the chat. Just in general, like our chat is
yeah,
a sample of an entire
yeah,
population of developers who are very noise sensitive, in my
yeah,
experience.
so,
Anyways, thank you folks
yeah,
for letting us know when our audio
yeah.
sounds like garbage, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to fix it. But that
It's
is it's good to have an audience that will help keep you up to a certain bar, but also it can be hard to strive for perfection all the time.
yeah. It's interesting that the Sennheiser,
Right.
provides the chart of,
Yes.
how it responds, but this is obviously printed out by, by a printer, like a
Yep.
computer. When I got the previous mic, the Octava
Right.
MK12,
Yeah.
and there's the mic,
Yeah.
and it came with
I mean, just
four
a quick
sheets.
aside. You obviously don't need this anymore, right? I mean, you can send it my way. That's totally fine.
Would you like it?
Obviously, but I'm teasing. Was it
It,
hand printed? 4 sheets of hand printed
it was
tests, kind of thing.
handwritten graphs.
Ah, that's beautiful.
I probably have them still somewhere, but I don't know where
I respect that so much.
they
The
are.
only point of comparison I have is that I tend to buy Dell Ultra Sharps, and they will
Hmm.
generally be printed but initialed at least in ink, which
Okay.
or have been. I don't know about the most recent one, but I do like that. Like, there's a human involved in the QC. Like, even if it's
And
just
yeah, and there were notes on the piece of paper. It was all written in Russian, so I couldn't. I mean, even though that's my degree, but I still
written
had a
in
hard time under
was it Cyrillic or Cyrillic? Yeah,
Cyrillic.
Cyrillic. You will
Yeah,
let us know. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
very cool.
I could sound out the word, but I was like, I don't know what this says.
That's so cool. I
Um,
love that though. That I'm kind of in that place now, and I hate to be like sound like a luddite, but some of the handcrafted stuff I appreciate more
mhm.
because I don't know if it's veracity or authenticity, but like I realize there could be AI involved in maybe the
Right,
idea phase, but the actual creation of the quote unquote art, or in your case, like a piece
right.
of manufactured, technically really precise instrument, and there's a
Hmm.
human in the loop kind of determining whether or not this came out
Right,
okay, or if it
right.
sounds okay at the end of the day. I like that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that now. That's very
Mm,
cool.
mm.
But yeah, I still use Isotope. I think it's R9 is what I use
Yeah.
to clean up my vocals. Yeah.
Yeah,
Eh,
I think at the last version I bought was 7,
right.
but it's been a
There's not a lot of
long
difference.
time since. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I upgraded once. There's not a lot of difference between
yeah.
7 and 9. Yeah. Yeah. All these plugins.
I don't even
Oh,
know what
look.
it's at now.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't even want to
All my
read the
videos are
comments.
perfect.
Yeah. I don't even want to read the comments now.
Let's read that again. Matt,
Should we
all of your
highlight it?
videos are perfect. Add to broadcast.
So, guys, I'm wiping off the sweat on my palm.
All
On
of
my
your videos have perfect, great quality speaking. I will just
I think I said
leave
this last
that
time.
on the screen forever.
My
Um,
my partner agrees. You do have a good voice for enunciation for teaching.
yes.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. It's good to listen to it, and I think that is important. Like when we're talking about a crowd, right? That's very much concerned about people selling them things, or
Right.
trying to market to them, or doing something duplicitous. Authenticity is very important, and
Hmm.
part of that is that voice, that your actual voice that you
Right.
have.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is important. Let
It
alone your
was
opinions.
a the initial. So I'm told it was the
Hmm.
initial quality that wooed my wife was actually the sound of my voice.
Oh, the baritone.
So yes,
Phenomenal.
yes.
There you go.
So
There you go. It's
it
kind of like
worked
those
out.
birds. I don't know if you've seen like What's that? The David Attenborough one. There's one that's specifically about birds, and they all have different
Hmm.
calls. And apparently, the song, like the voice of the bird, actually is important in some of their wooing. Basically,
Hmm.
isn't that some of them build nests, some of them
Okay,
have
the
dances, and
mating
for some of
calls.
them,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
yeah,
That's exactly
yeah,
what I was going to think of. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
the quality, the timbre, if you will, of their voice. That's actually important.
As you were saying that, I hadn't thought of these videos for a while, but I was thinking of the True Facts
Oh, Z Frank,
videos.
I still
Z
watch
Frank,
those.
yes.
He's still making new ones.
Is he
It's
still
so
making new
good.
ones? Okay.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I sometimes get him, although I don't know if they look the same. For some reason, they definitely don't sound the same. I don't know why I get them mixed up. Z Frank and Merlin Man.
Oh no,
I
definitely,
don't know if
definitely
they.
different people.
I don't know.
I think Z Frank is famous for one of those first animated GIFs of the white guy dancing, doing that stupid, leg dance. And all he did was,
Like history of dance thing?
no, it's just like a
No.
rotoscope. Do you remember Dancing
Oh,
Baby
okay.
Jesus? It was kind of like
Yeah.
this era of the internet, like
Right.
1993,
Right.
1994. He had just rotoscopes, essentially taken a bunch of photos and then traced himself
Yeah.
dancing in this stupid stop motion. And like legit, this is what he's known for, and making
Yeah.
jokes and stuff like that online.
Yeah.
But yeah, the documentary videos, if you've not seen them, I believe it's Animal
Oh,
Facts by
fantastic.
Z Frank. He
True Facts. Oh, is it Animal Facts? Okay.
it is True Facts. My apologies.
Yeah.
It's True Facts, and this is way before truthiness and all that
And there's
stuff.
like, I mean,
Well,
some of the ones the Naked Mole Rat,
oh yeah,
and various
that
other
was
ones where he
phenomenal.
just like laughs about, oh my God, that thing's so ugly. That kind of
George, why are you
response.
showing
Like,
this footage? This is horrendous. No, don't show any more of that. Yeah, it's so good. My favorite is the mantis shrimp that punches, has like
Oh
that
yeah, yeah,
ultrasonic punch.
yeah.
It's so good, so good. But yes, it's still definitely a place for good voices and good humor for sure.
Right, right.
So what have I got for you today? A lot of stuff. I think the march towards I don't know, some sort of singularity or something continues on, and models are being released all of the time. I'm making an ASI joke. My apologies. But there's a lot of developments going on here. I did notice that a company that you like, I think it's called Misty,
Oh
released
yeah.
a report, which you may
Oh
not
yeah.
have heard of, called
I have
the
not.
2025 State of AI Dev. Have you heard of this?
Wow, I have not.
Aha, we stumped it. Okay, so I'm not sure how to get this to you. I'll try the guest chat
I mean,
here. Let's
I'll
see if
just look at.
this works. Does that work? Are you able to see that link?
I do see
For
that.
those in the chat, it's at 2025.stateofai.dev. And there's a bunch of stuff in here. We could probably spend 2 or 3 episodes on this. And there's a bunch of these state of reports. What I wanted to talk about was this report itself is actually a pretty cool website and allows you to see not only the comments, but play with queries on the data, which I thought was next level. And some of the conclusions here are interesting. Some of the IDEs are interesting. I think Codium's still in here as opposed to Windsurf, and then maybe a typo for Codium elsewhere, unless there's 2. I'm not sure. There's a lot going on, a lot of conclusions, and the sample size a little bit small, but they're pretty upfront about it. That's mostly US based, mostly English speaking, et cetera, et cetera. But I love this website. There's something about this website that
the 2
it works
guys
for me.
behind this, they're really impressive. How I think they're still working a regular job.
Okay.
And they're building Misty.
Gotcha. So one of them is Ashok. Is the other one Sasha?
Oh, and then they hired somebody else new. I don't know. I can't remember does it say on about?
No, Sasha signs off on the intro, but I believe that this was started by the person who started Misty, Ashok Galal.
Yeah. So I don't think it's. I don't know. The 2 original guys I thought were both. Ashok definitely is Nepali.
Okay.
So
and maybe
so they
just
were
brought...
responding. They were responding to the thing on my. I have a mandala. I forget what the right name is for it on the on my wall, and like, oh, yeah. So we may had a connection there because my
Nice.
sister ran a free healthcare clinic in a little tiny village called Jiri, like 100 miles east of Kathmandu,
That's
for a
cool.
long time.
That is really cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if they just brought in Ashok for the conclusion. The
Mm,
weird thing is, like, I couldn't figure out who made this actually.
yeah,
So I was kind of
yeah.
hoping maybe you did. I thought Misty did,
No,
but
I
like the more
didn't.
I look around, the less I can tell who actually
Yeah,
made this. But I want to give them like a attaboy, attagirl, whatever, like a high five, because
yeah,
I this is what I want to see from every report ever. Show me your data, put it,
yeah.
and don't make me hunt for it and GitHub. Put it right
That
in the
is
report so I can
interesting
play with
about the
it.
query builder. Yeah,
Yes, thank you. I'm
that
getting
is
really excited now.
so cool.
Yes, the query builder is amazing. It blew my mind. This is what I want every report to do. So this came
Yeah.
up because this morning I was talking to Jason Hand.
Hmm.
We're doing like not a podcast, but like an internal
Hmm.
kind of what the heck's going on with Gen AI kind of thing.
Right.
And we came across this and we were comparing it and contrasting it to McKinsey's report, which of course is a freaking PDF with some charts that you've never seen and can barely
Right.
understand. You don't know
Right.
what the conclusions are, or
Yeah.
like maybe they disagree with themselves a lot of times. It's very confusing. McKinsey's great, but a lot of times it just looks like a lot of fluff and
Hmm.
maybe not the right conclusions. This, on the other hand, is sort of inconclusive. But if I told you, hey, Cursor is the most popular IDE and developers don't like hallucinations and they think that the quality of code that comes out that isn't Python and TypeScript is not great,
Right.
I think we can all kind of agree on that. I think that's, no one would disagree. There are some
Right.
tools in here I've never heard of under IDEs, and I was wondering if in particular we could go through that, because I'm really interested these days. I don't know what I want to call this, like the next gen IDE, whatever this idea of what an IDE should be going
Hmm.
forward. Is it Aider? Is it Claude Code? Is it a Codex? I think.
Hmm.
What does that look like? Is it Cursor? Is it Windsor? Something that's forked from VS Code? Because there's a few of those in here
Right.
that are like that. Or is it something like, I think it's Continue is in here as well?
Hmm.
Something different, some
Hmm.
new paradigm. Super interested in it. But there are IDEs in here that I've never heard of, like
So
Zed and Void.
they is this just people who use Misty, or how? I wonder how they got who
Yeah,
they got to
where?
do this. Where did
Yeah,
they
I don't
post
know.
this?
Good question. Very good
Um,
question.
because I
Like, how
mean,
did they filter
Misty
through?
on its own is not. I would imagine that the reason people will use Misty is it's easy. It's an
Right,
easy way to get started with AI. It happens to use
right,
Olama on the kind of inside, though
right,
you wouldn't ever need to know that.
right.
Um, and
And
uh,
on top of
and
that,
so
there's
I
some
think a lot
image
of
gen
developers
questions in
were going
here.
to want to know the details.
Right. Totally agree. Totally agree.
So,
And there's some odd little sidebar kind of questions that they put in here too that I thought was interesting. Anyway,
hmm,
if you find out who ran this, I'll dig as well. But
yeah,
I'd love to give them a high five, because legit,
yeah,
this is great. This
yeah,
is exemplary, I think, is the word that I'd use for this.
yeah.
But have you
So,
used like
so
Zed? Have you heard of Zed or
yeah,
Void?
you have not heard of Zed?
Oh no, absolutely not. And I feel like
I
I'm supposed to be on the pulse of this. Like, I'm legit interested in new IDEs. What the heck?
so it's kind of opinionated. It's another editor. I can't remember who started it. Whether it was like some of the original people behind Atom, I think might have. I can't remember if that was the story or it was something
It,
else.
now, is this Void
Um,
or Zed? I've heard of Zed, but
Zed.
definitely not. Okay, definitely not used it,
Um,
but I've heard of it.
and it's a fast editor. It's annoying. It's got a lot of annoying things like uh, one of the annoyances. I think all the editing of the configuration is all through a text file rather than and it's not a very discoverable configuration.
Mm,
You have to like there's some things that are kind of hidden and never shown, which is
not good.
you just have
Yeah,
to know they exist.
that's like the Apache, not Apache 2, but the Apache config.
Yeah.
Used to hate that.
Um,
I hate the tagline, the editor for what's next. Like, I hated that at GTC as well. It was like, for what's
I
next is what English is this?
yeah,
And if you're gonna call it Zed, like Z, so
right.
I assume you speak British English, you would know this
Hmm,
is not. What is this?
right.
Uh, anyway,
But I
did
don't
you
know
notice the
about
keyboard
Void.
shortcuts to download? Like, if you hit D on the homepage, it will download C to clone the source. Like it's kind of like what I want. Press
Oh,
press the
wait,
keyboard
what are we talking about?
on the Z homepage, for example. Sorry,
Oh, okay, no.
I'm deep on a sidebar here. But I'm like, okay, the page is white. Like I don't think I've seen an IDE page in white for a long time. Has
Well,
keyboard
Void
shortcuts.
is white, right?
Yeah, what, is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? We can't be going light mode now. It is. Void, I found out, was backed by Y Combinator, and I think I may have
Okay.
heard them talking about it on their podcast once or twice. But like, I think Void is VS Code fork, another
Yeah.
VS Code fork. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard of it.
Okay. The other ones in here, like I think we've talked about quite a bit, but Trae, Trae.
Let me go back to it. Oh wait, okay.
On the
Trae.
other IDEs list, yeah.
Never heard of that.
Okay. Continue I had heard of, but like once 2 years ago, I definitely never used it.
Right.
But
Continuous,
like
interesting. Yeah, I mean they were one of the first kind of plugins for VS Code that used Ollama. And I think they really started mostly on Ollama and have continued to build out to other engines as well.
Okay, and again, another bright themed page. I think I have actually, now that I see the logo, I have seen the plugin in VS Code, but had not used the IDE. Okay, all right.
I was there was an event I went to, and there was like not birds of a feather, but like the unconference kind of maybe it's birds of a feather, or like where you have a group of people talking about AI IDEs, and I was in that group, and we were talking about it, and somebody was asking, well, how does this compare to other, what about Continue? And I started going into a little bit of detail about Continue, and says, and I said something. I said, well, actually, I don't know if that part is true. Anybody have any experience with Continue? And the guy next to me is like the main developer of Continue. It's like everything you said was perfect.
Oh,
except,
there you go. That's cool.
So that
someone
really
in the chat should say Point Aveugle, I think, if we read this in French, said that it's from ByteDance and has free 4.1. Now, I think Windsurf had free 4.1 at least on some weekend that I just randomly was playing around. 4.1 is not bad for free. Like, it's hard to argue.
Yeah,
not bad at all.
So wait,
they said Point Aveugle said that Trae was developed by ByteDance.
Okay,
and that's free 4.1.
ByteDance. Who's ByteDance?
You know ByteDance, TikTok or CapCut.
Oh, TikTok. Okay,
I think that's ByteDance. Yeah. Pretty sure.
Where's my chat screen?
Yeah, TikTok and Douyin. But I think I know them from CapCut. Yeah, CapCut. Okay. Right. It's hard to. I got to be honest. I sometimes confuse Tencent and ByteDance.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. So I figured I'd look it up. Yeah. So Trae was in there. Now I think I've heard of Avante.nvim because I think it's a plugin for NeoVim. But I did find it interesting that NeoVim was pretty high up on here and does have ways of using AI tools, I guess. I've not used them.
Yeah.
But WebStorm and JetBrains AI on here? Really? We're not just going to call it IntelliJ? Or there's 3 of them on here,
WebStorm, actually. Yeah, so the Continue... No, sorry, the Windsurf just added the Cascade AI piece to the JetBrains IDEs.
Wow.
That's something they added pretty recently.
Interesting. Cascade's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad at all. It's actually pretty handy. I don't want to say like it's better than Ollama, but in some cases it's more handy. Just in terms of speed.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's great that it's all just integrated. I mean, you don't have to copy paste stuff. It just
and if you run out of credits and you're stuck, like it's actually totally fine.
Yeah,
very handy. But yeah, other than that, so again, there's WebStorm, IntelliJ, and JetBrains on here, which I think are all one thing. It's fair that they don't. And then we get Continue, Aider, and Bolt. But Bolt was the only, I don't know what we want to call these, like the all-in-one kind of, like Replit wasn't on here.
Right.
And I'm not sure I consider Bolt an IDE, but it's on here. In the same way that I don't consider V0 an IDE, like
Right.
Vercel's kind of thing,
Right.
or Lovable. Uh, I have played around with Lovable. The code editing in Lovable is not lovable.
Right.
You
Right.
can't edit code in Lovable. They say you
Yeah.
can, but you edit it in GitHub and that syncs, which is
Yeah.
fine. You can view the code, but that's totally different. Anyway, to the right of that graph, do you see all the comments that you can click on?
No.
I've never seen a survey when I can click on the freeform text and look at all of the answers, just in case I messed up. Look at this. It's phenomenal.
It's amazing.
Never seen this. I feel like they're setting the example. Like, no one should ever give me a survey that doesn't include the survey answers anymore. This is perfect. This is exactly what I want to see. Show me the data. Anyway, this is my rant for today. I thought this was pretty well put together. I'm sure I could dig in and find other conclusions and stuff like that, but quite handy. Right. So Pointavig says, yeah, it was free for 2 weeks. First time really using Windsurf, and it was good. Stopped using Firebase Studio, I believe is what they're saying. I have used Firebase Studio, have not been impressed yet.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like Firebase Studio, Bolt, V0, some of these tools feel samey to me, and they generally just don't give something that works. I was able to get Lovable to create a weather app that reads from a weather API, but I also feel like I may have been able to do that myself. It wasn't that difficult, but it was cool to grab some code and look at it. It took 5 tries. It definitely wasn't 0 one shot. It was not great. But, yeah. And then there was one I think question about Ollama and Qwen 3 Moe. This is the anime version of Qwen 3. Interesting.
What?
Well, I think Moe it's not Mo.
In comments.
Yeah, I think Moe means on fire.
No, MOE is
mixture of experts.
Mixture of experts. It's like, what is the M? It's like method of experts. No, it's mixture of experts. Yeah.
Mistral. Oh, interesting. Now the speed, yeah, I've seen people running both at the same time. Sometimes they may have 2 models loaded. That certainly happened to me. You keep running LM Studio, it's using some of that memory, then you load Ollama, and then try to use it again would be the only thing I'd be worried about Pointavig. But they should be very similar in speed.
Yeah.
If not the same. Because they're both, was it Lambda.cpp is what they use to load their stuff?
Well, it depends on the platform. So if you're on a Mac, LM Studio is using MLX. If you've configured it to use MLX, which they were before that edition, LM Studio was always 20% slower than Ollama, and now they are 5% faster. Usually, I've seen, but
this is 3 times faster.
But I expect that to change. Expect that to change pretty soon as well. But
I would say something else is going on there, because that's quite a bit faster.
Yeah, that would be LM Studio loaded first and has the memory, and Ollama it doesn't have any memory to load, and so that would make sense. It's hard to see when these tools give up memory and.
Yeah, especially on Windows, I have a very difficult time deciphering where memory is and what's being used. I've got a system that's got a 3090, but it's got a I think it's an i9, but it's because an on-board GPU that has some of the system's memory that's shared. And then depending on what I'm using, things can get pretty confusing to track down, like which GPU memory I'm looking at, what's been loaded where, like it becomes problematic. And I think LM Studio can do things like load some in CPU memory as well as iGPU memory, as well as your GPU memory, and then it will like load balance between them. And it definitely doesn't make things faster, but it will allow you to load models that you didn't think you could
things
load
you couldn't
as a
before.
result. Yeah. But it'll make things quite a bit slower. So if it was backwards, I would understand why LM Studio would be slow, is because it's spilled over into slow memory. Yeah, I'm not sure how that could happen, other than loading one first and the other one being slower.
It's interesting that they have. I'm going further down on this survey. Coding assistance.
Yeah, right. Yeah, some of these are different than the others.
Yeah, X
Like
Codo, Xcodium,
like
and
is that a
then
different
and then
coding?
there's Codium, and there's Codium, which is
Oh, it is in fact codium. Yeah, no, they're right. That's spelled that way. So they must have renamed because there was a conflict. Okay.
mm, hmm,
I've not heard of Kodo before though. Have you?
yeah, no,
Okay. And some of this is just like, hey, I've not heard of these tools before.
yeah.
Super Maven I've seen because I used to use Maven and I thought it was a Maven plugin. and
Super
then I've not
Maven was
used.
great.
Okay.
It's now Cursor,
Oh, okay.
because Cursor bought Super Maven a couple months ago.
Gotcha. Okay. There we
Right
go.
around the time I stopped subscribing to Super Maven and switched to Windsurf.
I wonder if a lot of people did the same. Okay.
Yeah,
And Tab 9, I've definitely played around with and liked quite a bit back in the day.
yeah.
But
I haven't used Tab 9 in 2 years,
that's when I
but I
was
was a
using it. Yeah.
subscriber for a few years. I mean, they were the
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. Yeah. It like
Yeah,
Copilot came out and I was like, I mean, come at me, bro. Like Tab 9 was pretty
yeah,
good at the time.
yeah.
And Copilot was okay. But Tab 9
Right.
still held its own for a while until like whole IDEs came out that
Yeah,
could
yeah.
attack that feature set. And then I found Q Developer being in here as well as I think it was in another place, the model providers. I think Amazon was in here as well, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, and Find
Amazon
was in
Q
here.
Developer.
Yeah. Have you used Find before with a P? Phind? Find?
Yes. But
Okay.
I don't know why.
It feels like Perplexity. We pulled it up just
Yeah.
to look at it. But
Okay, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, the coding
Coding
assistant thing is
assistant
interesting.
pain points, hallucination,
And like
inaccuracies. Yeah.
and you've heard of Rue Code, which is also in here? Or Rue
I've
Klein?
heard of some of the. There's other tools that they produce, I think,
Okay.
I thought maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Forked from Klein. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Root code. I thought there was some other tool that I had heard about recently.
I want to dig in a bit. Like generally, when there's
Yeah.
a fork and a rebrand, there's a reason.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like not that I need drama and gossip, but you know what happened here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if there's going to be a documentary about all the IDEs and the systems and stuff like that, where's the drama?
Pear
Para
AI.
AI. Definitely not heard of Para AI.
No.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Another Y Combinator? Yeah, another Y Combinator. Oh, you know what? I'm sure I've heard of this being talked about and assumed it was pairs and PAIR.
Okay.
All right. Oh, wow. It can use Continue,
Charades,
Perplexity,
and it
Mem
uses
Zero,
all
Super
of them.
Maven. Interesting.
With
All
a
right.
single subscription.
Interesting. Anyway, this feels like the era that we're in. So we've decided that
Right.
an AI assistant is handy for coding. If you're in a language that's pretty common, sure. And that maybe we're comparing from different ones, but it looks like the IDE wars have been reignited or
Right.
like it started again. It's no longer Emacs versus Vim. Right? We've hit next level at this point in time. In fact, I didn't see Emacs on here at all. And listen, I'm not gonna start burning down farmhouses or anything, but something's got to change here. Emacs is definitely still a player.
Huh.
Weird, eh?
This is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I thought so too. And then for some of these, if you're going in and looking at the pain points of the coding assistants, this is where I thought like there's opportunity. And some of them is like poor UI UX, and this is maybe my favorite thing. Like maybe I wonder what they thought would be a better UI UX for an IDE, but a lot of times all I want is sort of a plain text box generally, and I wonder what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Like NeoVim is pretty close to my ideal IDE, honestly. It's because it's just text. And everything else could be contextual or keyboard shortcuts or something like that. But honestly, what I care about is the window with my code.
Right.
And less so the tab bar and the terminal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like exploring the files and whatever chat you got on the right. Like those are all modes to me. That's not like when I'm coding, I'm here, I'm in this window. And the rest of that is extraneous. but like high
Yes.
monetary costs, some of these are free.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what's the most expensive one at the moment? Is it
It's either
Cursor
Cursor
at
or Windsurf.
$20 a month?
It's
Not
probably Cursor, yeah,
that.
because Windsurf's
I
half
mean, if
that now, right?
you're actually one of the other things I was surprised about.
Hmm.
This is a developer survey, and
Yes,
looking at
good.
demographics,
Yes, good.
yearly income,
Yes, also good.
how
Average age,
low? Oh, I didn't. What was the average age?
30 to
Average age
38.
30 to 39. So average
Been in
age
the industry,
33.
working on code for 20 to 24 years is the average.
Yeah,
You've been you're 34. You've been coding for 20 years.
right.
Okay.
And
You
then
started at
the
14, sure. I mean, I started at 5. You probably started
yeah,
around the same
yeah.
age, right? Sure.
Well, I mean, you can't do because there might
Like you
be
can't count. Like I'm not counting my Amiga Basic, right? Like if somebody asked me how
right.
many years professionally I've coded at
I mean,
34, I'm not counting
how
back to the
many
year of 5. Like no.
uh what's the youngest? Oh,
The
it doesn't
youngest
have
was
the
just under
comments on
20.
that. Okay.
Does it not? I think the comments are for the ones that were open-ended, where there were
Okay.
comments, where they're collecting
Okay.
comments. So they probably had like a
Oh, so it's
number
just
that
under
they just picked.
20. So 6% are under 20, and some unknown percent are less than 1% are
Now
above
this is
60.
that, yeah, and this is that developer survey problem that we've got is that the chances are there's a lot of developers or quote unquote developers. Well, let's call them citizen developers or new developers.
Right.
They're not going to see the survey or
Right.
don't feel like they're developers, so they shouldn't fill out the survey.
Right.
Whereas I feel like that 6% is probably quite a bit larger. People in
Yeah.
high school, university, whatever, they're playing
Right.
around with some of these tools. They don't know they're doing development, but in my mind, they very much are, even if they're just
Mhm.
sort of playing around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did
But
find that very interesting, the demographics.
I was surprised how low the yearly income was.
So let's see here. Our median in here, and remember the countries, right? So this is primarily U.S.
Yeah.
people who answered. 40
So
to 49 is the median, and they're making average 100K. That's not a lot.
and if you just look at US, it's 140.
And listen, it's a lot. It's a lot of money, but it's not a lot for a
Right.
dev who's 40 to 49.
Right. Yeah, for the average where you can look at US versus the rest of the world. And US
Oh, I didn't see that.
being at
Okay.
139,000 is the average 140,000. And this person developers had 20 years of experience and he's only making 140K.
Or they, it could be she, but yeah, like
No,
no, it
sorry,
doesn't.
they.
Yeah, I hear
Sorry,
it, but this,
yeah.
no, it's all good. It does not track.
It does not.
And it's not. It's not even that I disagree with their results. It just feels like a different sample
Feels
size, and I'm
weird.
It feels like the Bay Area didn't respond or something.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like your Hacker News people don't seem to be in here. Like, if you've got 20 years experience and you're almost 40 or 40, you're probably pulling in a little bit more than 100K average, I would assume.
If you're a little more than what?
I think it's just over 40, and you've been working for 20 to 24 years. It was the median or the average.
I think you should be closer to like 190, 180, 190.
Yeah, like not 200K, but getting close, right? Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
Not 140.
Yeah. And again, you can pull up the LinkedIn survey results or like Stack Overflow or whatever, but we've seen a few of these, and that's generally where it lands.
Yeah.
Now, I pose this to you. So some of it feels like, okay, so maybe the employees who are making money aren't admitting that they're using Gen AI, no problem.
Right.
The opposite are the ones with the skill issue using AI to get better.
Right.
Maybe I'm watching too much of the Primeagen or whatever that guy's name is, but like it does feel like the beginner coders are using this and admitting to it, whereas maybe the other coders are perhaps not.
Yeah.
But
well, coding assistance, one of the problems was high cost, but we're also seeing the people responding to this aren't making what they should.
Also true, right? Now there's what is it called? Like there's the rock stars, and then there's the rocks, and it looks like
Mhm.
a lot of the rocks. And these are the people who are with your company. They're loyal. Like, I'm not saying this is
Yep.
a bad thing.
Sure.
It's a good thing. They're steady state. They're not the ones who will finish a project and then immediately get a promotion and never touch the code again when it runs in
Right.
product. Not
Right.
those people. The other people who are going to run your code forever and make sure and fix all of your
Yeah.
bugs that you made and all the bad assumptions. These are your rocks. The rocks are using the Gen AI coding tools and talking about it is what it sounds
Hmm.
like, which is honestly is the opposite conclusion of what I had.
Right.
I would assume the early adopters are the ones who are trying to get ahead, working at some
Right.
VC back firm, that kind of thing. Anyway, this is the opposite conclusion that I thought we
Yeah.
get out of this, and it's a different sample set than I generally see, which I thought was
Hmm.
cool too. We're talking about experienced developers here, people who have
Hmm.
been through the thick and the thin, right? The
Hmm.
people that you think maybe don't need Gen AI, but also
Right.
maybe this is really handy for them because they know what's boilerplate and what's not.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to suck the air out of the room with this report, but I did like it. I did really like it. Sorry, I gave you a bunch
It
of
is.
topics before, and this was not one of them.
No, this is super interesting.
Okay, I'm glad you like
Code
it.
generation, I love it. And what's other tools?
Yeah, and
Programming
did you find
languages. Okay,
right?
interesting.
And
Tied
did you
for
find
JavaScript, TypeScript.
right? Which I think a lot of people are saying. So if you're writing Rust,
Yeah.
maybe you're not using Gen AI just yet because the corpus isn't large enough. Or if you're,
Mhm.
I think, Camel was the one that I brought up recently, which is like
Right.
really in the weeds, right? So you
Right.
got to make your own. I think that was Jane Street who had talked about
Yeah.
that at the AI engineering conference. But there are different languages in here where it may not be helpful. I think C# was another one that's like, there's stuff, but it's
Mhm.
not like not on Stack Overflow or maybe
Right.
C++
Right.
or C or what have you. Arduino code, I can tell you it may have a super large corpus, but that code is not great. Love you, Arduino folks, but a lot of you are new devs, and like this is not great
Right.
C.
Right.
I'm so sorry. As opposed to C, but if you're training it on Arduino stuff,
Yeah.
it's gonna be kind of. It looks like GoTo is all I'm getting
Right.
at. It's just not the best code quality. The other one I liked was the usage. So what are people using this for? And
Mm.
again, experienced devs, learning and research, I thought that was really cool. Like, if there's anything we can get out of this, I think learning a new language or learning how to read code from,
Mhm.
the freaking microservice team over here that's using two
Mhm.
versions of React for some reason, and I can barely understand what they're doing. Like, yeah, as a release manager in the past,
Yeah.
like this would have been phenomenal because I can generally
Yeah.
follow the logic, but sometimes the syntax it gets a little bit
Yeah.
strange for me. I thought that was awesome. The
Yeah.
other was in here, I thought pretty far down the list was speech recognition, and I feel like they just don't.
Mm.
Maybe they're just not using the tool in the right way, or they don't know where it's being used. But I talk to my phone, or quote
Yeah.
unquote talk to Gen AI quite a bit, in fact. And maybe this is a confidence thing that I've been using it for a while, so I know how to like correct it and stuff like that. But I do
Mhm.
use ChatGPT's
Yeah.
voice mode. I like it actually. I'll go for a walk with ChatGPT.
Yeah. I mean, I use Super Whisper all the time.
Right.
That's great.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty handy. Especially just when you want to give yourself a note or something like that, because you can go
Mhm.
back and look at that conversation, which is what I use it for. It's like instead of giving myself a voice memo, why don't I have a voice conversation? And it's pretty
Yep.
handy. All right.
Um,
Did you have any checkouts or anything, or have I totally nerd sniped you here with this long list of amazing
no,
details and
this
query
is
engine?
great. This is great.
Love it.
Resources. Wow.
Yeah.
Newsletters that people subscribe to, tldr.tech.
Yeah, we
was
talked
like
about that
by
as well.
far.
I think everybody is on TLDR, right? Now, did you
don't know
notice
any-
that there?
I don't know
Yeah.
anything about this.
But what about these?
TLDR.tech.
Now these video creators, I didn't want to. I wasn't gonna pull this part up, but did you get into the video creators?
No, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, so I mean, I looked through here, but I didn't.
What?
I saw one. I saw
Where the
one
fuck-
Matt.
Where the hell am I?
I saw the other Matt. I didn't see the third Matt, and I was like, oh no.
Oh man.
And Theo's at the top of all these people. Prime's in there as the third. And in this, my apologies, I have been watching
They
a lot of the
suck.
Primeagen. He's kind of ridiculous. Not a big fan of Theo. Again, no offense. Love Fireship. I think we know. AI Explained is all right. Karpati's pretty good. 2-minute papers is so. Matt Berman, love you, Matt. Like, love you, other Matt Berman, but like, not a fan.
No.
Matt Wolf is all right.
I,
you know,
but is he still?
yeah,
I mean,
he's still doing
he had
his thing.
his height a while back, and I don't know if I've paid attention to him any recently.
Still around. Yeah, gets invited to some conferences and stuff like that. It's getting
Hmm.
better. Network Chuck's on here. I'm not convinced Network Chuck's great for Gen
Yeah,
AI. Like, again,
no.
love you, Chuck, but you know networking for sure. You're pretty good at
AI
Olama.
Code King is slop. It's garbage.
It's not great.
Um,
And then what was in here? There was one more. Lex Friedman. I think we talked about it. Just not a fan of Lex. No
no,
offense.
no.
Again, Lex just not my style of stuff.
Yeah.
One that's in here that I was really happy to see is I think it's called Three. I was gonna say Three Brown, One
Three
Blue,
blue,
but
one
that's
brown.
like
Yeah.
actually good tech content.
Yep.
Like it's totally worth watching. A 2 minute paper,
Yeah.
same thing. They go over a paper. I feel like a lot of that you could just grab the conclusion and be good to go without watching the whole thing. But I don't know. Matt Pocock was kind of the joke of the 3 mats you're going to include. Do you know Matt Pocock? Okay.
Yeah.
I do not.
It's TypeScript.
Gotcha. This
But
I mean,
it's not
right there.
AI.
You know why.
I mean AI. I'd say TypeScript. I mean, like using understanding kind of bizarre uses of or bizarre things in TypeScript and
Okay,
helping understand.
I did find something that you might like here. So if you go under other answers and you click on unmatched answers, and then you click on the survey answers. So other answers under Wes Boss. Well, Wes doesn't really do a lot of Gen AI stuff anyway. Under other answers, if you click on it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's unmatched answers. On the far right, there's 268. Click on that 268. Got it?
Wait. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Now under keyword, type in Matt. And then push the ego down.
Oh, look at that!
No, I feel like somehow it's alphabetical or something like this, but you could have made the list. How much does Wes have? 5. Okay, you're 3 off.
I'm 3 and 5.
You're 3 and 5?
I'm 3 and 5.
Oh, let's see. Oh no, I think that's just number. They just number the list when it's showing to you. Okay. Yeah, so there's definitely 2 votes in here, and somebody misspelled Matt Wolf, which is that's on.
Yeah. So only 2. There were only 2 people mentioned me.
I would have voted for you.
Wow.
But yeah, you did get some votes, so
I got some votes. Great.
Yeah. But yeah, still not a fan of Theo's number 1 here. Theo's like the PewDiePie of Gen AI.
Which is crazy.
Whereas Primogen's actually entertaining and has like in my opinion, the right opinions. And Karpati's legit good. If you're not watching under Karpati's channel, is actually worth watching for sure. And AI Explained is a little bit boring, but pretty good too in terms of like making sure you actually understand the algorithms that use, because like you might have a layman's understanding of something, but they'll go into it, which is good. 2-minute papers, sometimes they gloss over stuff and whatever. But yeah, that was a report.
That's pretty neat.
I didn't have much to tell you about checkouts. Unfortunately, I've just been
the
same old.
I don't have anything. I mean, my one purchase was the MKH50.
There you go.
And that's so far pretty good. I started watching a program which I wouldn't say is any good, but I somehow have watched 3 episodes and on Netflix called Supacell.
Supacell. What's it about?
Supacell. It takes place in London. It's like these 4, 5, 6 people all of a sudden get powers all at the same time, and nobody knows why. And it's
okay. I get the Supa now. The creator of the program is Rap Man, who I've never heard of before. Have you heard of Rap Man?
No.
Wow. Mentored by Jay-Z.
Okay.
Interesting. He's a British rapper, Rap Man.
And he's very full of himself on all the credits. You keep seeing his name. It's like there's one person that made this. there's one person that made this thing. I don't know. But it's okay. And
I
I
find it
found
interesting that
myself
they didn't
kind of getting
use
sucked in.
their real name as opposed to a stage name. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the person in Parks and Rec who's got like a stage name for their rapping as well as
Oh
their
yeah.
acting.
Hmm.
Yes, this is interesting. All right,
Yeah.
now
I
I
wouldn't
will
say
watch
it's
it.
any good.
No,
It's
don't watch it. I won't
it's
watch it then.
okay. It's okay.
All right, all
I
right.
keep watching a little bit more, hoping it's going to get better. I should just give up.
I guess I do have one recommended video. I feel like the Thanks Obama video from the Primeagen might be worth watching. It's Obama trying to talk about how AI coding is going to take all the developers' jobs, and then
Hmm.
immediately regrets saying it and tries to like dig himself because Obama's a very good orator, like a public
Yeah.
speaker.
Uh-huh.
Poised, generally well
Right.
thought out, and
Yep.
it's
Yep.
interesting to see him kind of flinch a little bit and be like, "Oh, well, I mean, what I mean." It's like he's basically talking to himself, trying to like
Yeah. Yeah.
go around. What? But yeah, pretty good. And then watching Primeagen react to it, I thought was
Right.
quite good. And it's like a live stream that he's cut out for comedic effect. It's about
Mm-hmm.
16 minutes long. It's totally worth it.
Right.
But this is my new entertainment now. This and the Fire Ship I find actually pretty jokey and funny, which is hard. It's a hard line to like actually be funny in the tech industry, but I think they're
Right.
both doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. So I think any. I mean, the reason I was late today to
Yep.
start this was that usually when we get home from the gym, my wife and we prep our lunch and eat it,
Hmm.
and as we're eating it, we're watching usually a video from the Local Project, which is
Okay.
this Australian channel focused on houses, basically new houses. But
Yep.
it's basically uh, a, a a channel that focuses on Australian versions of our house.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's fun to see. It's fun to see like different ways, different they tackle some of the same problems that
Yeah, yeah.
they solved in our house as well. So
That's really
I feel
cool.
like our house could be a subject of Local Project every time.
That's really cool. I watched something called I think it's Tokyo Llama is the guy's name, and he's
Hmm.
like renovating an old home in Japan.
Oh yeah,
And
oh
and
yeah.
I
And
will
you
maybe
got
never
it
do
for
this.
free or something.
Yeah, yeah, maybe a
Yeah,
buck or something like that. I mean, there's tons of
yeah,
taxes
yeah,
as well, which is like the first episode they get
yeah,
dispel some of those myths. But it's amazing to watch just sort of the
yeah.
neighborhood come together and work on this old house because it's a
Mm.
lot of work to
Yeah,
renovate an old Japanese farmhouse. And then he wants to do it kind of in the style, so using the right materials where we can.
right.
I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah,
Wow.
that's kind of the same sort of thing for me. And I never thought, as an old man, I'd be interested in house building or house reno videos, but here we are.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
All right, folks, thank you so much for all the
Yeah,
comments in the
thanks.
chat.
This was
This
fun.
has been awesome. Yeah, sorry we talked mostly about this one report, but if
Got this one
you got any
report.
feedback about other IDEs or new ways of doing stuff,
Yeah.
definitely comment on Matt's videos and watch them. And next time this survey comes
Next time
out,
there's a survey,
please
I
vote
want
for
to be on
Matt,
top.
or at least like somewhere close to the top. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Get that idiot Primeagen off the list. No,
Prime's
no,
fine, but at least get Theo
he's
off
fine.
the top. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
we can't be watching Theo for Gen AI news.
Ugh.
It's mostly like reactions or hot takes.
Yeah, he had a very negative video about Arc,
Really?
and all of his
Oh, we
complaints
talked
were
about
like,
this. Yeah.
yeah, all
That
of
was
his complaints were things
silly
I'd
point.
never seen,
Yeah.
like memory issues and all this. And he
Right.
went to Zen, I think, and
Mhm.
but I, 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 and actually I do use Zen now, um, and except I still have to use Arc because at full screen you can't get rid of the Chrome in Zen. You're stuck with
Oh.
this border around the edges. And there are
Oh, that's annoying.
themes that try to get rid of it, but none of them get rid of it fully. And
Oh.
so I have to still use Arc. I use Arc on this machine because
Oh.
you can't get rid of the Chrome, which is super annoying.
Now listen, I know we're over time, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of these out there, but one of
Yeah.
the programmer kind of hills that you can try to climb is how to compile your own browser. And since this
Hmm.
is a Mozilla fork, I bet you could recompile it without that Chrome on the edge.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever tried to compile Mozilla.
No.
I have. Firefox, sorry. I have like fork in your own trying to just
Yeah,
update a logo or something like that.
yeah,
It's fairly complicated build process.
yeah.
I don't think I've succeeded in ever compiling Chromium just
Mm,
as a counterpoint. Like
right.
it's quite difficult. And there's I know this is a complete sidebar, but there's this big lawsuit going on about breaking up Google and all this stuff, right?
Mm,
And Google, I think yesterday or the day before, said that only Google could run Chrome. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, only Google can compile Chrome for sure.
yeah,
It's not easy,
yeah,
but it does look
yeah,
like Zen's at least open source. So I mean,
yeah.
PRs are accepted. If you want to get rid of that Chrome, good luck.
Right. Yeah. No, and
Maybe
it's like
maybe throw a client at it or something. I don't
it
know.
is an issue that has existed for since the beginning of the project, and
Gotcha.
it's not going to be resolved.
Maybe it's a design decision or something. Who knows?
Design decision, yeah, it's frustrating. So Arc
Yeah.
is forever.
Arc on mobile for me for sure.
Yep.
On
Yep.
desktop, I'm still stuck on Chrome. All right,
Cool.
folks. Shall we find the
All right.
stop stream button?
Yeah, let's do it. And I think this is it.